Well, good morning and welcome. It's Sunday. It's time for another episode of Coffee with the Raptors. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for joining me again this week. And we've got another guest, some more fun Raptors to meet, some updates about what's been going on around our facility here, and some upcoming events. So super excited to have you here. Talk with me again for another morning. Got some more chai with me today. Hope you brought something yummy for yourself to drink. We're, as always, willing to hear from you. Jump in the chat, share your comments, share your thoughts. Love to answer questions for you. A reminder and a huge thank you goes out to Platte River Power Authority for being our sponsor of this live stream today. This is a great partner organization that has been supporting the Rocky Mountain Raptor program for quite a number of years, and we're so grateful for their continued support. So big shout out to them. Thanks so much for having them support us, the work that we do. So what's been going on around the Rocky Mountain Raptor program lately? Well, still waiting for that winter. Haven't seen it yet. Honestly, I don't mind not having to shovel the snow out of the enclosures, but sure would like to actually have some winter in my winter. I don't know about you, but I would like it. Birds are all doing really good. We're still, hopping, keeping busy. Always lots of things for us to do around here, even in the middle of winter when things are pretty quiet. Our rehab team hasn't been terribly busy lately, but they have had some interesting things going on. Let me pull up over here and see the most recent update from our rehab department. Looks like we had, in the last 2 weeks, 2 releases. A red-tailed hawk that came to us in August, this bird had head trauma, a fractured left wing, and West Nile virus. But that guy did get out of here, which is awesome. As well as the American kestrel, that case that we'd been following for the last couple of episodes. I mentioned in the previous episode that bird had been released, and so that came through here on the report. That little lady is gone. Super excited. We do have some footage of that release. We're still waiting to get it off of a camera, but as soon as we have it, I'm going to share it with you so we can see her going back out into the world, which is always the best part of what we get to do here. We've only had 1 new bird come to us, which is awesome. That gives us a chance to kind of catch our breath and start doing some preparation for the next busy season. This one bird came to us on the 6th of December. It was a hatch year Cooper's hawk, and from the Loveland area. We're interestingly starting to see more Cooper's hawks as the years go by. They didn't used to be all that common, but then they've started becoming our one of our top 5 species that we see in our rehab department. So been interesting to see their numbers change over the years. This Cooper's hawk had a pretty fresh fracture to the right wing, which is really great because the sooner we can get to any kind of an injury, the better the treatment will end up being. And so right now, this one's in our critical care room, getting some supportive care, good food, some fluids, some pain medications, and is going to go over to Colorado State University's Vet Teaching Hospital to get some radiographs done so we can see if surgery is a possibility for this wing. So we'll stay tuned and see what happens with that guy. Otherwise, there's 25 patients in-house. Most of them this time of year are kind of project birds, ones that need a lot more time to deal with long-term recovery. So these guys typically stay with us for a while. We've got a great horned, a kestrel, a red tail, a great horned, Cooper's hawk, a great horned, a great horned, a great horned, and 3 red tails. And then we also have our 8 young or immature Swainson's hawks that are overwintering and will hopefully be released next fall during migration. So 25 patients in-house, and still enough to keep our rehab team busy. From our education team, things are kind of winding down. We did do one more program. We went over to, what does my calendar say? Trout Corps Elementary. Went over and talked to the 4th graders there for their medieval day and did a program on falconry in the Middle Ages, which is always a tons of fun. The kids dress up in these great costumes, and it's a really fun program. And we have one more left for the year, and then it's time to start planning for next year. So starting to look at what events and exhibits we can get out to, as well as starting to get some requests in for spring programs in the classrooms. So I'm really looking forward to that. We also just brought on a new ambassador, and I'm super excited about this. And it's not ready to go out and meet the public. It'll be a couple of months at least before that happens, but it's a new Swainson's Hawk from our rehabilitation side. This poor little boy came into us with a broken wing that healed up well, but then unfortunately frostbite occurred, which is always a challenge with these migratory species. We do the best we can, but sometimes things happen, and that frostbite caused some of his feathers on the tip of his left wing to not grow in properly anymore, and so he's no longer able to make that migration to Argentina. And so he will stay with us as an ambassador, and I really look forward to bringing this guy out and sharing him with you. So stay tuned. Don't know when, but you will have a new ambassador for us to share with you. So that's kind of what's been going on from our side of things. Would love to hear from you if you've had any recent sightings or been encountering any raptors out in your world. This morning, as I let my dogs out, when I got up, my neighborhood great horned owls were hooting. And I could hear the female, I think she was in my backyard tree. And then I could hear the male a lot more faint, so a little bit further away. But I actually heard him this morning, and that was exciting. Absolutely love those great horns. And it's right about the time of year for them to start nesting, so they're going to be real vocal. So it's the best time to go out and listen and discover if you might have any in your own neighborhood. Speaking of great horns, we do have several guests to join us today. One of them is our Assistant Director and Volunteer Coordinator, Lisa Winta, as well as an educational great horns. And so Lisa's going to come on in, grab her seat. Morning, Lisa.
Good morning. How are you today?
I started my day with great horns. I had a good day.
Oh, well, can't go wrong with that.
Yep.
I hear great horns in my neighborhood as well, and it's such a wonderful sound to hear them.
It was a good way to start the morning.
Yeah.
So,
I'm drinking
what are you
coffee
drinking?
this morning.
You got coffee?
And cream, that's my jam. To mornings with
Cheers.
great horns.
Mornings with great horns. So speaking of great horns, over here we have one of our ambassador great horned owls. This is, we suspect, a male, and we call him great horned owl head trauma because unfortunately this little boy was hit by a car. And that really is far and away the most common injury that happens to raptors. When he was struck by that car, he was probably hit really hard. And he came into us from the Laramie area where some hikers came across him standing up in a tree. And, you know, hikers, owl, they're going to stop. They took a look. But as they were watching, this owl just fell out of the tree, which is not something owls just do. So they knew enough to get in contact with us, and we work with the Wyoming Fish and Wildlife up there to transport raptors from that area, kind of the southeastern Wyoming area, down to our facility. And so this guy came to us. I wasn't here when he arrived. Were you?
I was, yeah. That was in 2012.
Yeah. And I heard that there was concern that he wouldn't even make it through the night. They were surprised that he was actually still alive when he arrived. He was pretty unresponsive. Really significant head trauma, a lot of swelling of the brain from getting hit so hard. But as you can see, of course, he did survive. Unfortunately, he was left with some residual brain damage and some vision challenges that made him non-releasable. So he's been with us ever since. But
he made a huge recovery from his initial injuries. He was catatonic when he came in, and Gail Kratz, our rehabilitation director, she had said it's the closest to dead yet still alive of any raptor she's seen come through the door. And the fact that he was able to recover so far was really hopeful, but unfortunately those residual injuries just make it so he's not releasable, but a great educational raptor.
Let's take a closer look at him. We'll put him up on the screen here for you. So here he is. Those red eyes, that's actually the light that we have on there to light him up for you, just kind of shining. It's that eye shine, that reflective eye shine. Sometimes it's red, sometimes it's green. In his case, it's red. It just so happens that that's the way the camera picks it up here. So his eyes are not actually red like this. It's that eye shine coming in from the back. You might have seen that maybe in your cats or your dogs. So it definitely shows up there as he looks around. But you can see he's a gorgeous example of what great horned owls look like. Real classic appearance. That mottled green and brown, or green, he's not green, gray, gray and brown and black and white, mimicking up the bark of cottonwood trees. That's a great place that they like to hang out and camouflage in super well. So there you go. He's a wonderful bird. Absolutely love this guy. He's very sweet to work with. Real curious. Watch him. He's looking around and everything. He's got those ear tufts up, but not in a super alert position. So he's just making sure everything's staying safe where he's at. So wonderful friend. Love to share him with you. And as I understand, Lisa, you have a particular special bond with great horned owls.
I do. I love great horned owls, and I didn't know that I loved great horned owls until I joined this program. I joined back in 1994, long time ago.
That was a few years ago, yeah.
Yeah, a little over a quarter of a century, which only makes me feel old. But I joined the program because I wanted to change the world. I wanted to make a positive impact on the world that we live. Mm-hmm. And this was an opportunity to do that. And we had this great volunteer program, so I became a volunteer. Knew nothing about raptors. I don't have a background in biology or vet medicine or any of that. I just loved the mission of the Rocky Mountain Raptor program. And as I was going through the training and working with the different ambassadors and the active case birds at that point, providing the husbandry care, cleaning their enclosures, feeding them, I learned a lot about the different behaviors and survival actions the way they are, and their own energy. Falcons are very high energy, very high energy birds. Great horned owls are much more chill. And when you look at their natural history, they're ambush predators. They're designed to conserve energy and survive that way. So they will find a perch where there's likely some yummy food item that's going to roam by and just wait until that yummy food item roams by, whether it's a mouse or a rabbit or something, and then pounce on it. And the rest of the time, they just are mostly chill, hanging out on a branch, watching the world happen. Of course, you know, there's the nocturnal activities, like you mentioned, hooting and looking for a mate and all of that kind of stuff. But what I found was that calm, that slow, that methodical demeanor that great horned owls have. It's very much like myself. I kind of like that. I like just chilling and waiting for my pizza to be delivered. So I realized, wow, I really like these great horned owls. I get them. I like all of the birds, but of course the great horned owls I found I really relate to. And through my time with the Raptor program, I was very blessed to be given the opportunity from our staff at the time, which was Judy Sherpels and Gail Kratz. Gail is our rehabilitation director. Right. And she oversaw all the training of our educational ambassadors at that point. And she and Judy allowed me to start helping with conditioning our educational raptors to become educational raptors. And I've worked with the falcons and the hawks, but to do a really good job of training, you really need to relate to that animal that you're training for this type of scenario.
Yeah, that's important for sure.
Because it's if you really relate them to them, you have much more chances of success. And eventually, I was gifted the opportunity from staff to be the lead trainer on our great horned owls. And when I say training, it's not like training your dog to do agility or something like that.
No, not really.
Not at all.
Not really.
It's really about conditioning these amazing birds to trust us, to trust that we're not going to cause them harm. And they're going to get some rewards out of it. They're going to get food. They're going to be kept safe. And so just that slow conditioning, hanging out with them. And with the first great horned owl I trained, you spend a lot of time in the enclosure.
Right.
You're just letting them get used to you. And, when they're calm, you drop the food, you leave. They're like, sweet. This bird did not fly around a lot while I was in the enclosure. And that's a great thing. And then you gradually start to get closer to them.
Yeah.
And I'd been working with this one great horned owl for a little bit, gradually getting closer and developing that trust. And my goal for the next few sessions was to see if it would allow me to actually reach forward and touch its toes without flying away.
Yeah.
Have you seen How to Train Your Dragon?
I have not.
Oh.
No, unfortunately.
It's a great movie. It's a kids movie, but kids of all ages. And there's at one point in that movie where the Night Fury, he's essentially going through the same process we do when we're in the early conditioning of our educational birds. And he reaches out and he's just trusting that this dragon is gonna let him touch its nose, and it does. Of course, we're not going to touch their nose. I was just hoping to touch the feet. It's very similar to that moment. And so with that great horned owl, he's standing on the perch, much like you see this owl standing on our perch here. And he had allowed me to get closer to it on the perch. And I reached my hand forward, and I touched its toes, and it didn't fly away. It stood there, and it looked down, and it looked at me. It looked down, looked at me. He's all kind of tall, looks around the enclosure like he's thinking of flying away, looks down again, looks at me, and then just kind of settles into it.
Oh.
And oh my gosh, I was overcome with emotion at that moment. At first I was like, he trusted me. This bird trusted me. Such an amazing gift. But at that same moment, I actually welled up in tears.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to do it now. Through all of my time with the program, I had learned, and it was in my head, and I understood that these are wild animals, and they're in our care, and we have to do everything we can to give them the best care possible. But at that moment, when that bird trusted me to touch its toes, it really hit me, not just on a head level, but in my soul, that I have just asked this wild animal to violate every one of its instincts, that humans are scary and to flee.
Yeah.
And it did. And the reason I was overcome with tears and emotion was that it suddenly was very clear to me the responsibility of caring for all of these amazing educational raptors and caring for every bird that comes through our door. We have a huge responsibility to make sure that they have the best life possible. We can't ask our educational ambassadors to violate those instincts unless we are there for them 24 hours a day, providing everything they need to thrive while in our care.
Yeah.
And I've carried that. That's been a great gift, a great learning opportunity. I gotta wipe away the tears because
no, they're good tears. They're happy tears.
They are. These birds give us so many great gifts. Yeah. And that gift that they trust us so that they can then go out to the public with us and inspire people to want to love them the way we love them. They don't love us. They see us as a source of food.
No.
They'll trust us, but they don't
That's as
love
far
us.
as it goes.
But we love them, and inspiring all those people out there to love them and to make a difference for them.
Yeah.
God, that's so important. And so yeah, great horned owls are my favorite.
Yeah, I can see why.
Yeah.
That's really cool. What a great story.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I know what you mean about that trust. I mean, I get that too. And if for me in particular, I see it a lot with the turkey vulture.
Yeah.
When I come in and he just willingly approaches me because he wants to go out and he knows that I'll take him outside and give him some sunshine. And he just walks right on over and tells me in his body language, I'm ready, let's go. And I set that glove and he just climbs right on up, no hesitation. I know exactly. It kind of gives me, I don't know if it's quite as powerful because,
no,
but
it is, yeah.
it's still that trust that they put in us is amazing.
Those are special gifts.
It's one of the best parts of the work that we get to do.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, well, thanks for sharing. What an amazing story.
Oh, thank you for having me today. I love, I could tell so many stories about great horned owls. I've worked with so many of them, and they're just amazing. Like I said, I relate to them because I like the chill aspect as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, we got some other things going on this week, too, that you wanted to share. We are going to say goodbye to our great horned owl here. There he goes. Whoops, let's come back. Hold on. Wrong button. There's the button I'm looking for. So it's an interesting thing to do your own tech for a live stream. You know, we don't have as many staff and trained people as you know, as would be ideal, but we make do with what we've got.
Yeah.
Always have, always will.
That's survival.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we've got an interesting thing coming up this week. Today is actually our kickoff day of our virtual open house.
Yeah.
And usually in December, pre-COVID, we would do an in-person open house. We would decorate up our whole facility and pull out all the Christmas decorations and have a bunch of displays and exhibits and birds out. People would come in, get to see us in person, walk through a portion of our facility, meet those birds in person, do some holiday shopping, and kind of get out and do a little bit of celebration of the season and get a chance to come see us and learn more about us in person. COVID. Can't, unfortunately. So we're doing it virtual. We did a virtual one. We've done a couple of these now. I think we're kind of getting the hang of it, how that works.
Yeah.
So all this week, we have a ton of virtual stuff going on. Tell us more about that.
So yeah, we every day we're going to have a different topic. Starting tomorrow, I believe our topic tomorrow is educational.
Education. Yeah.
And so we're gonna throughout the day we're gonna post different videos, different stories. We're also gonna be sharing some information that was written from one of our rehabilitation volunteers, Ed Bischoff, very passionately involved with the Raptor program. And
Ed's posts are fantastic. He's a great writer.
Yeah,
I love reading his stories.
He's pretty amazing. Everyone here is amazing. So we're going to be sharing that. We're going to be highlighting our education, rehabilitation, our volunteers, all of the people that make this possible, like Platte River Power Authority and all of our different partners. So watch that on Facebook and our different social media throughout the week, and you'll get many opportunities to learn. We also have daily specials of sales and weekly specials. One of the daily specials is going to be these silver hawk earrings. This is the turkey vulture design. Can be purchased only from us.
That's an exclusive. We're the only place you can get this one.
Yeah. So you can share your love of vultures by wearing this jewelry.
I got mine.
Hand carved out of bison bone.
I got mine. I love mine.
But culminating all of it will be next Sunday, a week from today, from 11 to 2. Our gift shop will be open, so you can come in person and shop at the gift shop then.
Absolutely. And I believe we're also going to have some ambassadors on display as well.
We will, yeah.
So you'll get to see exactly, at least some of who your funding and your purchases will help to support as well. So that'll be awesome. Looking forward to sharing all the fun stuff that we've been working on for this coming week. So every single day, Lots of great new posts.
Yep.
We'll be on Facebook. We'll have them here on YouTube as well, won't we?
Yep.
Some of them are going to show up on Instagram also, so follow us however you follow us. If you remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel right now, go do it. You'll get notifications when new posts and videos go up. So take a minute and do that.
Great.
So,
well, thank you for having me today,
thanks,
Jessica.
Lisa. It's been a delight. I love your story about great horns. Thanks for sharing.
It's been great chatting with all of you as well.
Excellent. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks. All right. Whoops. I'll roll my chair back up here. And we are going to go and celebrate this week's Gold Star Raptor. So our Gold Star this week goes to American Kestrel in our rehab department. And shoot, I forgot to write down his case number. Let me see. I'm going to pull this up here super quick. I have it on my 21263 is his case number. So that means 21 refers to the year that the bird was admitted. 263 tells us he was the 263rd bird admitted this year. There you see him in the flight enclosures. And Kestrel 263 has been successfully flying full laps in his enclosure. And what's really so amazing about this is our flight enclosures, which are the largest of the series of enclosures that we have that our birds move through as they go through the stages of rehabilitation. They're also modular, so they've got big barn doors between them, so we can create large or small, we can create different sizes and shapes of spaces for these birds to practice whatever skills they might need to practice. And in the case of these little falcons, maneuverability, flying, banking, turning, making corners, that's an important skill for them to be able to successfully hunt, because falcons tend to hunt other birds, so they need to be very agile to be successful. And so the enclosure that this little kestrel is in is actually two smaller ones that have the barn doors open between, making a circular shape. And this bird has been doing a beautiful job of making laps around and making great corners and turns and showing wonderful agility. And so gold star to him for being an amazing flyer and showing us that he's got those flight skills that he needs for success. So congratulations, gold star, American Kestrel 263. So before we go, we do have another friend I want to share with you. I'm going to pop into our chat and see no questions today. That's okay, but we're going to come back here and say hello to one more friend. So this is another owl, and many people will often say when I ask them, well, what kind of an owl this is, they sometimes respond, it's a baby great horned owl, because it looks very much like the great horns that you got to see earlier, and it's significantly smaller. If we zoom out, we can see the size of this bird in relation to his handler, just to give you an idea of how small he really is. And that's Jasmine, one of our great volunteers. That's her hand there that you're seeing. This is an eastern screech owl. And he's one of two eastern screech owls that we care for, the other being a red phase. He is a gray phase, and that refers to the color of the feathers. Some species can come in different variations of colors. Eastern screech owls having a red, an auburn, and a gray phase, depending on what part of the country that you're in. This little guy came to us in 2020 as a very, very young bird after he had also been hit by a car. Fortunately, he didn't suffer any brain or vision trauma, but what did happen is his lower jaw got broken. And as it healed, it left his beak offset. So instead of sitting like this, like it's supposed to, it sits crooked. And without regular filing and maintenance, that lower portion of the beak begins to roll over and grow long enough that it would eventually prevent his beak from opening up entirely. And of course, then he wouldn't be able to eat. And so the normal behaviors of eating and those normal activities in the wild wouldn't be enough to keep it filed down. We actually have to take a Dremel to it and keep it filed so that his beak continues to open and work properly. That's why he can't go back out into the wild. But this guy has been an amazing addition to our team. He took to life in human care very well because he was so young when he came in. So much easier for him to adapt and to learn. We often refer to him as teacher's pet because he just learned so quickly. He picked things up super fast, and he was real eager and excited to be participating in his training and his work. So he's been just an A+ student, if you will. So what a wonderful friend. Love to share Raptors with all of you. Talking about owls today, our wonderful great horns. Check back in with us all week. You'll get to meet some more of our ambassadors and see some more about how we work with them and how we care for our patients. So in the meantime, thanks everybody for joining us. It's been a pleasure having you here with us on this episode of Coffee with the Raptors. We will be back again with our next episode in January. And silly me should have taken a look to see when that was going to be, but check on our calendar of events. We'll have that date up there. It'll be a Saturday in January, and we will see you all then. Have a wonderful week and a very Merry Christmas to everybody.